With so much information coming out about the newest Fire Emblem, we thought it'd be interesting to take a look back at the reveal trailer for its upcoming crossover with Shin Megami Tensei, known as Illusory Revelations Sharp FE in Japan. But this time we're giving the old analysis machine a break and looking solely at your ideas. Of course, be sure to watch the original analysis, as we'll be referring back to it quite often. The most solid news to come out since the reveal are the names of the 4 primary characters. The main boy is named Itsuki Aoi. The girl that becomes a Pegasus Knight is called Tsubasa Oribe. The redheaded boy goes by Toma Akagi, and most notably, the other girl is Kiria Kurano. So the pop star that we had been pointing out over and over again as Kiria was actually the same girl from the beginning, something that many of you had theorized and predicted. In fact, Kiria does have long hair when she's in her normal outfit. It's just tied in a ponytail and draped over her shoulder. But as we pointed out before, Kiria isn't the only reference to pop stars in performing in general. In fact, you guys were able to find many more. For one, as Sakrin and many others informed us, whenever a character uses an attack, they are listed as an artist. It really drives home the idea that battles really are just a performance. And this is reinforced by Mystic Distance, who translated the name of the palace dungeon that we saw Itsuki running through. It's actually referred to as Variety Set West, First Floor. It's almost as if the dungeons all take place within the same building, but use different sets. What's unclear is why the Japanese set is referred to as Variety. Maybe with each floor, the design of the dungeon changes. Janope noticed something else though. We had mentioned that characters are listed at around level 30 at one point. This is something that's not possible in Fire Emblem games. We of course realized this, but chalked it up as being part of the switch to a traditional RPG. But Janope wonders if this means the promotions are not part of this crossover. While we don't know for sure, DeKid360 believes that the system could be taking inspiration from the Devil Summoner and Persona spin-offs of Shin Megami Tensei. In those games, the characters and the demons or personas leveled up separately. So in this case, the characters might not be able to be promoted, but their class will. It could even allow for the Cavalier class to use a bow, sword, or axe in conjunction with its standard lance. It'd be a way to fuse the gameplay of these two franchises together in a smart way. But there were many other references to both franchises that we simply missed. One of the simpler suggestions from Speedy DE and many others was that the EP that could stand for the character's magic meter might stand for emblem power. This meter could also be tied into how long or what kind of transformation can be used. Another detail is the giant tree that Tiki is standing in front of. Aiden TB believes that this could be the Mila tree from Awakening, which would make sense considering all of the other allusions to the Divine Dragon tribe. There are 2 other references to Awakening in this trailer though. Blue Lore and many others pointed out that the translations of the names of both the Flying Head enemy and the Bird Woman are shared with enemies from Awakening. The Flying Head is called Gangrel and shares the same facial hair and frill around his neck. Likewise, the Bird Woman is called Aversa and was a Dark Flyer. Looking at her design and the design of the enemy, there is a definite connection. So that begs the question of whether other notable enemies from Fire Emblem's past will make an appearance as monsters. The final Fire Emblem reference is, well, the actual Fire Emblem. Adon and many others pointed out that the emblem, specifically the Shield of Seals from the original, Mystery of the Emblem, and Awakening. It is noteworthy that almost all of the Fire Emblem callbacks have been from either Awakening or the original game. Will these be the primary focus, or will the other games get referenced in some way? But a possibly more significant connection is the characters' names. Adon pointed out that Itsuki Aoi's name references blue, Toma Akagi is an allusion to red, and Kiria Kurono is related to black. Tsubaki is the only member with no obvious color connection in her name, instead referencing wings, which is appropriate considering that she's been shown as a Pegasus Knight. At first, we weren't sure why this mattered. However, it's actually a direct connection to the Shield of Seals. 5 differently colored jewels granted its power: silver, green, red, blue, and black. It can't be a coincidence that 3 of these colors are in the characters' names. Tsubasa must have a connection to this as well. It's just not evident yet. And perhaps the blonde archer represents the 5th color. Together, they make up a group. Maybe they even call themselves the Fire Emblem. It's all conjecture, of course, but going further, maybe that orb that Itsuki used against the red-cloaked figure is one of the jewels, and the characters activating their jewels are what allow them to access the transformations. We're not sure if we're right about this, but it is a fascinating possibility. That's just the Fire Emblem side of things though. Shin Megami Tensei offers much more than we originally thought, mainly because of our general unfamiliarity with the series. But you guys know these games. Tyler Petty thinks that the people in the red cloaks could even be the game's version of the Ring of Gaia cult who believe that only the strong should survive and generally side with the Chaos alignment. But there are signs that the Order of Messiah could be in the game as well, mainly thanks to the Millennium poster that we pointed out. Adon thinks it could be a reference to the Millennium Kingdom, which is the main goal of the Order of Messiah. Perhaps both sides are trying to use the entertainment industry to push their ideals. Another possible reference to Shin Megami Tensei is the room with all of the Triforce symbols. According to Julio Bello, this could actually be the game's version of a terminal, which are used to teleport to different places. But many of the connections to Shin Megami Tensei come through in the battles. For one, as Zatium pointed out, the audience during battle actually consists entirely of monsters. None are the same as the ones that you fight, at least not yet. But the fact that this world mainly consists of monsters is another possible connection to the series. Many of you also clarified that we were incorrect when it came to the symbols shown during battle. For one, PokeLogic X stated that what we thought was a targeting reticule is actually the symbol for buff and debuff magic in Shin Megami Tensei. Meanwhile, Bchan8397 showed that the wind, lightning, and ice symbols are exactly the same as the ones in Shin Megami Tensei 4. Since those are the same, the other elements, fire, light, and dark, will probably follow suit. But one point where the two series might combine in battle was noted by Little Mountain 90. Not all physical attacks in Shin Megami Tensei are the same. They're usually split between slashing, piercing, and blunt attacks. It's possible that this is reworked to better fit with Fire Emblem's weapon triangle of swords, axes, and lances. One just replaces the other. Okay, we're almost done here, but there are two other things that we need to point out. You guys hammered us for missing these. The first one that we completely missed was the cameo by Jack Frost on one of the signs in Shibuya Crossing. There's no way this mascot would have been left out of the crossover. Likewise for the shot of the destroyed look at Tokyo, an extremely common sight in the Shin Megami Tensei series. If anything, this just proves how different a crossover Illusory Revelations will be. Both franchises are represented in unexpected ways, but the core of them seems to be there. We don't know for sure yet, of course, but we're willing to give it a shot. Until then, let us know if we still missed anything in the comments. If you liked this video, be sure to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at GameXplain to keep up with everything we do. Thanks for watching and make sure to stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Shin Megami Tensei, Fire Emblem, and other things gaming.